This video is a mix of the giants of Norse mythology. Surtur, the fire giant's role in Ragnarok. Forget everything you think you know about doomsday scenarios. Ragnarok isn't just a myth, it's a prophecy woven with the fiery threads of Surtur, the giant of Muspelheim. His arrival signals the ultimate destruction. A world consumed by an inferno of unimaginable power. Are you ready to face the giant who brings about the end of days? But fire is only half the story. For when the final dawn rises, the realms will not only scream with flame. They will tremble with the howl of a hound whose voice can shatter creation itself. Today, we're diving into the intertwined fates of Surtur, the world-ending flame, and Garmr, the hellhound whose roar shakes the underworld. Two beings forged not from malice, but from necessity. Two guardians. Two destroyers. Two destinies tied to the collapse and rebirth of the cosmos. The flame that devours the cosmos. There are sagas that praise heroes for their valor, and gods for their glory. And then there are the older, darker tales. The ones whispered when fire burns low, and shadows press close. Surtur belongs to these tales. He is not born. He erupts. From the first fires of Muspelheim he rose. A being of molten stone and blinding heat. Older than Odin, older than the Aesir. Older even than the first spark of life. His skin blazes like cracked magma. His eyes glow like the cores of dying stars. And in his hand, he wields the flame blade. A sword so powerful it could cleave the sky. And still thirst for more. This weapon was not forged, but awakened, screaming with creation's fury. Its flame so pure that no shadow survives in its presence. Surtur stands at the border of Muspelheim. Not as king, not as tyrant, but as sentinel, guarding the primordial fire that fuels existence and threatens it. The gods fear him. Giants whisper his name like a curse, and the Norns weave his destiny with runes of inevitable devastation. For when Ragnarok arrives, Surtur will not march. He will rise, bursting into the heavens in a torrent of fire that will melt the earth itself. And it is said that in the final battle, he will face Freyr, a god who gave away the only sword that could save him. Their clash will burn the world, and Surtur, victorious, will sweep his sword across the sky and ignite the end of everything. But remember this: from the ashes he creates, a new world will bloom. Surtur does not destroy because he hates. He destroys because the universe demands renewal. The howl that shakes the underworld. Where Surtur is fire, Garmr is shadow. There are creatures who were never meant to be loved, yet without whom the cosmos would crumble. Garmr is one of them. At the gates of Helheim, where the breath of the dead drifts like frost on the wind, he keeps eternal watch. He does not sleep. He does not hunger. He simply waits. His fur is blackened by centuries of shadow. His muzzle stained with the lifeblood of those who tested the gates. His eyes glow like dying embers, the last light seen by any soul crossing into hell's cold domain. Some whisper that hell herself forged Garmr from her own loneliness, that where she rules over silence, he rules over boundaries. He is the first and last sound a soul hears in the realm of the dead. A growl older than words, older even than fear. And he is bound, not by mortal chain, but by prophecy. The Norns crafted his fetters from strands of fate itself, each link spelled with the same rune. Not yet. For when Garmr breaks free, Ragnarok will begin. His howl will shake the foundations of Yggdrasil. The dead will stir as if remembering life. And even hell must come in with a ghostly hand, whispering, "Be still, my beast." Not yet. But the day of yet is coming. Paths of fate, fire and Fang. When Hermr rode Sleipnir into Helheim to beg for Baldr's return, it was Garmr who blocked the way. Snarling, roaring, forcing the living to face the dominion of the dead. When the first flames of Ragnarok ignite, it is Surtur who leads the fire giants into battle, blazing brighter than the sun. 2 guardians, 2 thresholds, one at the gate of death, one at the gate of destruction. And when the end begins, both will fulfill their purpose. The howl and the flame, the end of all things. As the sky cracks and the seas boil, Surtur will raise his sword and burst into the realm of the gods. Garmr, freed at last, will tear loose his chains. His roar will echo across the 9 realms, a sound that shatters mountains and freezes even gods in terror. He will race across the battlefield to meet his destined foe, Tyr, god of law and sacrifice. Fang meets steel, duty meets destiny, and both fall, locked in a fatal embrace. Surtur, towering above the battlefield, will face Freyr, flame against forgotten steel, old world against new. The final blow will fall, the sky will ignite, the world will burn, and in that burning, both Surtur and Garmr will complete their ancient purpose. Fire will devour, the dead will fall silent, and the realms will collapse into ash. After the end, ashes and echoes. But from ashes comes life. Always. When the flames settle and the smoke drifts away, a green world will rise anew. And deep beneath its soil, the echoes remain. The warmth of Surtur's eternal flame, and the heartbeat of Garmr, still guarding the threshold of unseen realms. 2 destroyers, 2 protectors, not monsters, but balance. For without fire, there is no rebirth, and without shadow, light forgets its meaning. So when you dream of flames that whisper your name, or hear a growl from just beyond the dark, remember Surtur and Garmr, the fire and the fawn, the heralds of the world's end, and its beginning. The giant who stole thunder. Imagine holding the most powerful weapon in the 9 realms, only to have it ripped from your grasp by a mischievous god and a thunderous hero. What fatal flaw led a frost giant to believe he could outsmart Odin's son and possess Mjolnir? Prepare for a legendary tale of deception, hubris, in an epic showdown that forever changed Norse mythology. There are stories of triumph and heroism, and then there are the tales where even gods blush from embarrassment. This is one of those tales. A story born from mischief and arrogance, where every step forward becomes a warning. Never underestimate a frost giant, and never underestimate the gods who hunt them. The giant who dared. Thrym was a king among Jötnar, a creature of ice in ancient winter. So powerful his footsteps cracked glaciers, and his breath chilled the wind. But even kings hunger for more. Thrym envied Thor's strength, Mjolnir's devastating power, and the prestige the hammer bestowed upon the gods. To him, the hammer was not a sacred artifact. It was a trophy, a symbol he believed should rest in giant hands, not divine ones. His opportunity came at dawn, when Thor slept soundly after a night of feasting. Hidden beneath ancient magic, Thrym stole the hammer from beside the god's bed, a feat no giant had ever accomplished. He vanished back into Jotunheim before the sun rose. His ego grew colder and larger than any ice mountain. A realm without thunder. For the first time since creation, the world awoke without thunder. The skies were eerily calm. No rumble, no distant crack. The air felt hollow. The gods gathered in Asgard, their unease palpable. Thor searched everywhere, hall after hall, chamber after chamber, until at last he shouted in disbelief, "Mjolnir is gone." The realm trembled. Mjolnir was not just Thor's weapon. It was Asgard's greatest shield, the hammer that protected the gods from the frost giants' relentless assaults since the dawn of their rivalry. Without it, Asgard was exposed, vulnerable. It wasn't just Thor's pride at stake. It was the balance of the 9 realms. Loki, the necessary evil. Loki found Thor pacing like a caged storm. His sly grin hid his concern. "Brother," he murmured, "if Mjolnir is missing, only one realm would dare touch it. Jotunheim." Thor's rage flared. But rage alone would get him killed. So Loki borrowed Freya's falcon cloak, its feathers shimmering with ancient magic, and soared across the icy winds, toward the land of giants. There he found Thrym seated on a throne of frost-encrusted skulls, boasting loudly of his prize. Mjolnir lay beside him, glowing faintly, disgusted by its new company. When Loki asked for its return, Thrym only laughed, a sound like avalanches tumbling down mountains. "Tell the gods this. I will return Mjolnir only if Freya becomes my bride." Loki flew back with the news, already plotting Freya's fury and Loki's mad idea. Freya's refusal was absolute. Her anger shook Asgard. Her necklace blazed like captured sunlight. "Marry a frost giant? I would rather burn the realms myself." Thor slammed his fist down, desperate for a solution. And Loki, smiling the smile that meant trouble, gave them one. An outrageous plan. A ridiculous plan. A plan only Loki would devise. Thor would dress as Freya and wed Thrym himself. The hall fell silent. Even Odin avoided Thor's glare. But necessity outweighs dignity, and Asgard needed its hammer. So the Thunderer donned a bridal gown, a gleaming veil, and a necklace far too delicate for someone capable of cracking mountains with a sneeze. Thor was humiliated. Loki was delighted. And destiny rolled forward. A wedding of lies. The giants' hall roared with celebration. Thrym watched his bride approach. Towering, muscular, hungry. Suspicious? Yes. But love makes fools. And pride blinds kings. When the bride consumed whole animals in minutes, Thrym stared in shock. Loki whispered, "She hasn't eaten for 8 nights. From excitement. When the bride's eyes burned like lightning, Thrym recoiled. Loki soothed him. "She has not slept for 8 nights either. From eagerness to join your bed." And so the wedding continued. Thrym was so entranced that he ordered Mjolnir brought out to bless the union, unaware he was sealing his doom. Giants gasped as the hammer was placed on the bride's lap. In that instant, the hall fell still. Thor rose, veil torn, storm unleashed. Mjolnir soared into his hand like a long-lost companion. Lightning erupted. Giants screamed. Thunder unleashed. Mjolnir whirled. Tables shattered. Frost giants fell like trees in a storm. No hall could withstand that fury. Thrym, who once dared steal thunder, now stared into the eyes of its master. A single blow cracked his throne. Another split the icy floor. The final strike sent the giant king crashing down. His ambition extinguished. Silence returned. Then thunder rolled triumphantly. Mjolnir was home. The fatal mistake. Thrym's downfall was not theft alone. His fatal flaw was misunderstanding power. Mjolnir is not merely a hammer. It is the storm's heart, the protector of gods and realms. A weapon forged with purpose, destiny, and divine will. Thrym believed he could control it, wield it, possess it. But Mjolnir was never his. His icy fingers were unworthy from the start. In the end, the frost could not contain the storm. The thunder god's lesson. The gods returned to Asgard victorious, though Loki's laughter echoed long after. And Thor learned something valuable. Dignity can be restored. Mjolnir can be reclaimed. But underestimating the enemy, even a foolish one, leads only to ruin. Especially when that enemy fancies himself master of thunder. So the next time you hear thunder crack across the sky, remember the giant who thought he could steal it, and the storm that came roaring back for revenge. Stone giants, the weight beneath the world. The most misunderstood force in Norse mythology wasn't the frost giants or the flames of Surtur. It was the silent, immovable majesty of the stone giants. They were not merely foes struck down by Thor's hammer. They were the living skeleton of creation itself. Their presence could shift the paths of rivers, halt the march of armies, and steady the trembling of the 9 realms. This is not the tale of monsters destined for ruin, but of ancient beings whose stillness shaped the cosmos. Their power was not noise, but endurance. Not fury, but gravity. In a world of storms and flames, their quiet strength was a deeper kind of might. The kind that holds the sky in place. If fire destroys and frost preserves, stone remembers. And memory, in the Norse world, is a power all its own. The Titans born before thunder. Long before Thor lifted Mjolnir. Before Odin carved order from chaos. The stone giants stirred beneath the foaming mountains. They did not descend from gods. They were not shaped by will. They emerged, hewn from the cliffs of primordial Jotunheimr, rising like living monuments from the raw earth. Some said they were children of Ymir's bones. Others claimed they were older still. Older than the very stories that attempted to contain them. Their forms reflected the landscape itself. Bodies of granite and basalt. Skin marked like weathered cliffs. Voices as low and rumbling as shifting tectonic plates. In their eyes lived eons. Not rage, not malice, but the unhurried patience of mountains that watched stars die and reform above them. To witness a stone giant was to glimpse the earliest age of the cosmos. The era before God's CLA. In dominion over meaning. Keepers of the geological soul. The stone giants did not roam. They dwelt in deep valleys carved by ancient waters. Upon ridges where wind sang across stone. Within caverns laced with glowing veins of primordial magic. They were the guardians of the earth's hidden architecture. The ley lines, the mineral veins. The bones of Yggdrasil's foundations. Where frost giants embraced winter. And fire giants embraced ruin. The stone giants embodied the balance the world depended on. Their strength was quiet. Their wisdom deep. Their presence indispensable. But myths, like mountains, cast long shadows. And the gods saw only OBS. Tackless where there were once stewards. How titans became targets. When poets sang of Thor's glory, they needed foes as colossal as his ego. Beings large enough, fierce enough, to make his victories thunder across ages. And so the stone giants became villains. Not because they waged war, but because their existence offered a stage for Asgard's resounding triumphs. A single giant hurling a boulder to clear a river's path became a monster threatening the gods. A watcher on a mountain ledge, ensuring that ancient magic remained unbroken, became an enemy lying in wait. The stone giants did not choose conflict. Conflict found them. Hammer first. Their downfall was not aggression, but misinterpretation. The strength that shaped the skies. When provoked, of course. Even stone can crack. Even mountains can shake. And when a stone giant rose in rage, The world noticed. They could split cliffs with a fist, reshape valleys with their footsteps, and hurl boulders that fell like newborn moons. Legends speak of Hrungnir, with a heart as heavy as an anvil, and a skull so hard that Thor's hammer could scarcely break it. But their violence was never needless. It was the defense of a people who protected the earth itself, Eve, and from gods who believed themselves above the laws of creation. More than brawn, the hidden role of stone. To see the stone giants only as brutes is to misunderstand the Norse cosmos entirely. Stone was not merely a material. It was the memory of the world, the record of ages etched into layers, the silent witness to the rise and fall of realms. The giants who embodied this element became living archives, keepers of the deep runes, interpreters of seismic whispers, wardens of ancient magic that even Odin approached with caution. Without stone, there is no structure, no path, no route for E-world tree. The stone giants were not obstacles. They were infrastructure. Voices lost beneath the thunder. Because they lived slowly. Because they spoke rarely. Because their stories were not written, but felt in the tremors beneath one's feet. Their legacy faded. The Aesir spoke loudest, and history listened. And so these titans, guardians, sages, elemental anchors, became footnotes in a saga they once held together. But if you stand beside a vast cliff in silence, if you feel the pulse of the earth under your feet, if you stand closely enough, you may still hear them. Stone remembers, even when myth does not. The weight that endures. To understand the stone giants is to recognize power in its quietest form. Not the flash of lightning, nor the roar of flame, but endurance, presence, a patience that shapes worlds. By existing, they are the guardians of thresholds, the silent defenders of sacred places, the watchers who need no praise. Their story is not of conquest or destruction, but of grounding, of stability, of the earth's right to remain unmoved. Even when gods demand motion, they are the heaviness that steadies the world, the stillness that survives storms, the memory that outlasts myths. And if Thor reprise Ts the might of the sky, the stone giants are the truth beneath it. Even the heavens need a foundation. Aegir's Grand Hall, brewing mead for the gods. What if the secret to immortality, to divine wisdom, or even to the very creation of poetry, lay in a single, golden drink? In Norse mythology, it very well might have. We're diving deep into the profound significance of mead, not just as a drink, but as a mystical force connecting gods and mortals. Prepare to discover the legendary brewer, Aegir, and the intoxicating power behind his renowned mead. Before the feast, the brewer older than storms. Long before skalds lifted their voices, before Valkyries carried the brave to Valhalla, Aegir tended his cauldrons beneath the shifting waves. He was not a god of war, nor a king seeking glory. He was older, quieter, and infinitely more mysterious. Some claimed he rose from the first tides of creation, others whispered he learned the craft from giants older than Ymir's bones. From the velvet dark depths, he shaped his hall, lit by sea fire, adorned with currents, its walls glimmering like the inside of a colossal pearl. His form was as fluid as the waters he ruled, his voice as deep as undertow, his eyes filled with tides that remembered every ship, every secret. To enter Aegir's hall was to step into the world before time grew teeth. A place where the sea itself paused to listen. The sacred alchemy of mead. Aegir did not simply brew. He communed. Each batch of mead was a dialogue with the cosmos, the sweetness of honey echoing creation's dawn, the fermenting bubbles echoing the whispers of spirits long gone. Within his cauldrons glowed a magic older than the Aesir themselves. This was the mead that could unravel riddles, kindle poetry and loosen the tongue of even the tightest-fisted fate. Gods traveled vast distances, not for war councils or prophecy, but for a seat at Aegir's table. For a sip of clarity, for the inspiration that turned warriors into legends. And stories into sagas. Where others ruled with force, Aegir ruled with fullness, with the warm, golden hush that follows the first drink of something divine. Why the gods revered the brewer beneath the waves. Thor's hammer could shatter mountains. Odin's ravens could map the world, but neither could replicate Aegir's art. His hall became the meeting place of realms, a sanctuary from conflict, a rare moment where even rivals set aside their weapons in exchange for a horn of peace. Aegir's craft was the great equalizer, reminding gods they were not above pleasure, that even immortals crave comfort, warmth, and communion. In an age of fire and frost, mead became the middle ground. The golden bridge. And Aegir stood at its center, a generous host with power far subtler, but no less cosmic, than any god who strode the battlefield. The mead that made myths. Of course, not all mead was simply drink. Some carried the weight of destiny itself. The mead of poetry, born of Kvasir's blood, held the secrets of creation in every drop. Aegir, steward of its essence, understood that drink could be memory, could be magic, could be meaning. He knew that the right mead could elevate a mortal to a skald whose words outlived kingdoms, or give a god the insight to shift the balance of fate. To sip from his cauldrons was to commune with the world's deepest truths, to taste wisdom as tangible as honey on the tongue. The quiet power behind the feasts. Aegir's might was not loud. He did not roar or boast or demand reverence. His legacy flowed slowly, like the tides, like fermentation, like time. Because he hosted more than banquets, he preserved connection. He upheld the fragile harmony between Aesir, Vanir, and Jötnar with a ladle and a smile. His mead was a reminder that even in a world of swords and storms, community held its own kind of magic. A magic that could outlast battles. A magic that could outlast gods. The warmth that outlives the waves. To understand Aegir is to recognize a different kind of power. Not the clash of metal, nor the crackle of rune fire, but hospitality. Creation. The quiet mastery of turning raw elements into revelation. He is the keeper of gatherings, the guardian of fellowship, the brewer whose craft softens even the sternest fates. His story is not of rule or conquest, but of communion. Of offering. Of the subtle force that binds stories, hearts, and histories. He is the warmth in the hall during winter storms, the laughter that drowns out ancient grudges, the golden drink that inspires poems carved into memory itself. And if Odin represents wisdom hard-won, Aegir represents wisdom shared. A reminder that even sagas need a hearth. Rance nets, traps of the drowning goddess. Imagine a vast, dark ocean. Now imagine a force lurking beneath, not a monster, but a goddess with a net woven from the souls of the drowned. What if I told you this isn't just a myth, but a chilling explanation for countless disappearances? Dive with us into the legendary traps of Ran. Before the scream, the goddess beneath the waves. Long before sailors carved runes for protection, before skalds sang of voyages across cold horizons, Ran dwelt in the darkness beneath the shifting blue. She did not rise from foam, nor descend from the sky like the Aesir. She emerged from the primordial waters, a being as fluid and unpredictable as the sea itself. Her hall, hidden deep below the reach of sunlight, glimmered with the treasures of lost voyages. Shields eroded to mirrors, swords rusted into coral thrones, gold gleaming like captured starlight. Her presence was as cool as undertow, as still as the moment before a ship breaks in two. To glimpse Ran was to understand the ocean's oldest truth, that every journey has a cost. The nets that shape destiny. Ran's nets were not woven from fiber or sinew, they were woven from absence. From the gaps left by swallowed ships, from the last breaths of sailors, from the lingering fear that rides every cresting wave. Each strand shimmered with a faint, ghostly glow, a testament to the countless souls entangled within them. These nets drifted in the deep like living currents, neither hunting nor chasing, simply waiting for the sea to deliver its due. To be caught was not an act of punishment, but a surrender to inevitability. Mortals feared them not because they were cruel, but because they were certain. And certainty at sea is rare, terrifying, and absolute. Why the sailors whispered her name. For seafarers, Ran was both terror and truth. Storms could be survived. Monsters could be outwitted. Even Thor's tempests could be outrun with luck. But Ran's net? Once you felt its invisible drag around your ankle, your fate was sealed. The bravest captains muttered her name under their breath, offering coins to the surf as bribes, pleading for safe passage. Every offering was a fragile hope that she might let their ships slip through the waves without reaching up to reclaim them. Her reputation was not earned through malice, but through consistency. She never missed a soul meant for the deep. The truth behind the drownings. Of course, even the calmest ocean can turn. Ran's nets tightened in storm-racked waters, catching entire crews in a single, unseen sweep. Sagas speak of ships that vanished without wreckage, of warriors whose armor was later found glittering in her hull, of captains who felt a sudden weight in the sea, a gentle tug, like a hand pulling them home. Yet her traps were not vengeance. They were the fulfillment of the sea's claim, the pull of an ancient cycle that no god, not even Agur, could fully deny. The drowned became part of her realm, their memories braided into her nets like threads of sorrow and song. More than terror, the keeper of the lost. To see Ran only as a thief of lives is to misunderstand the sea entirely. She was not merely the taker, she was the keeper. The guardian of those forgotten by the surface world, the collector of stories swallowed by waves. Within her hull, the drowned did not drift in eternal suffering, they became part of something vast, a chorus of quiet voices, a tide of memory preserved in the deep. She knew the secrets of vanished kingdoms, the whispers of voyages undone, the truths buried where no sunlight reaches. Her domain was not death, it was remembrance. The silence that still echoes today. Because she lived in shadow, because she spoke through waves rather than words, because her stories were carried by the drowned instead of the living, her image became distorted. Poets feared to praise her. Sailors feared to anger her. And so Ran, goddess of tides, of consequence, of inevitable return, became a phantom in the edges of Norse lore. But if you listen at the shoreline in absolute stillness, if you hear the sucking pull beneath each retreating wave, if you feel the thin chill that lingers after a storm, you may sense her watching. Ran remembers, even when myth forgets. The depth that holds us all. To understand Ran is to understand the sea's darkest honesty. Not the shimmer of the surface, nor the freedom of the horizon, but the weight beneath. She is the keeper of endings, the weaver of fates that fall overboard, the quiet certainty beneath every voyage. Her story is not one of cruelty, but of inevitability. Of the ocean's right to reclaim what it touches. She is the cold hand beneath the waves, the whisper in the undertow, the net that never tears. And if Agur represents the feast, Ran represents the cost, a reminder that every sip of salt water, every voyage into the unknown, is borrowed time. Jorah's pulse, the quiet heartbeat beneath all things. You know Thor, the mighty god of thunder. But do you know the divine being who gave birth to him, the very foundation of the 9 realms? Prepare to uncover the untold story of Jorah, the earth goddess whose influence shaped the cosmos far beyond what you've been told. Her pivotal role in Norse mythology is often overlooked, but not today. Before the first dawn, the goddess beneath all life, long before thunder cracked across the sky, before Odin carved runes into the fabric of fate, Jorah existed, silent, steady, and vast. She was not forged in fire like dwarven treasures, nor born from frost like the ancient Jötnar. She was the world, the soil that remembers every footstep, the mountains that hold the weight of centuries, the deep roots that drink hidden rivers of time. Her presence stretched beyond form, a slow, perpetual breathing that shaped the contours of existence. Her valleys cradled the first wanderers, her cliffs guarded the earliest storms. Even the gods tread lightly upon her, for they knew she was older than their oaths, deeper than their wisdom, and strong enough to outlast their greatest battles. To sense Jorah was to understand the oldest truth of the cosmos, that all things endure because she endures. The lands that shape destiny. Jorah's body formed the stage for every saga, every war cry, every prophecy, every deed sung by skalds and whispered by shadows. Her forests whispered secrets to wandering heroes, her mountains tested the resolve of gods. Even the shifting of tectonic bones beneath her surface echoed with divine intention. Unlike gods who wielded weapons, Jorah shaped fate simply by being. Her storms birthed legends, her fertile plains nurtured kingdoms, and her unyielding stone forged the resolve of mortals. She did not chase destiny, destiny unfurled across her surface like vines seeking the sun. Every rise and fall, every triumph and tragedy, was carved in her terrain. She witnessed them all, remembered them all, and never spoke a word. Why the gods whispered her name. To the Aesir, Jorah was both mother and mystery. Even Odin, who sought knowledge in every shadow, treated her with sacred caution. He knew she could swallow empires with a tremor, or cradle them with gentle abundance. But it was Thor, her storm-forged son, who felt her presence most keenly. His thunder rolled across her skin like a wild heartbeat, and she grounded his fury, tempered his storms, reminded him of the strength that grows from stillness. Sages claim that when Thor rested his hammer upon the earth, he was greeting his mother, not with words, but with the rumble of thunder settling into stone. Mortals honored her with every harvest, every sacrifice returned to the ground. For they understood a simple truth. Jorah gives, and Jorah takes, and through this balance life continues. The truth beneath creation. Sagas often speak of gods who battled giants, who shaped worlds, who controlled wind, fire, sea, and storm. But they forget the one who held them all. Without Jorah, there would be no fields to reap, no mountains to climb, no horizon for heroes to chase. Her body bound the realms together, a cosmic anchor that even Yggdrasil leaned upon. Some legends whisper that she remembers a time before the gods, when the cosmos was a raw, shifting wilderness. She learned patience from the ages before memory, strength from the stones older than language, and wisdom from the roots that drink eternity. Her silence was not absence, it was depth. More than a mother, the keeper of balance. To think of Jorah only as Thor's mother is to miss the enormity of her essence. She was not merely the giver of life, she was the equalizer. Earthquakes were not wrath but recalibration, fertile seasons were not favors but cycles. She moved according to laws older than divine politics or moral prayers. Those who listened, the healers, the wanderers, the hermits living where wind meets stone, felt her guidance in subtle ways. The quiet insistence of intuition. The patience learned from winter. The courage found in the shape of mountains. Her realm was not dominion. It was equilibrium. The silence that still holds us. Because she rarely spoke, because she did not flaunt her power or bend storms to her will, Jorah faded into the background of myth. Not forgotten, simply taken for granted, as humans often forget to thank the ground beneath their feet. But if you place your palm to the earth and wait, truly wait, you might feel it. A pulse, deep and ancient. A heartbeat steady enough to outlast gods, myths, and all the fleeting things built atop her back. Jorah remains. She always has. She always will. The foundation beneath every saga. To understand Jorah is to understand the quiet strength that underpins the cosmos. She is not the clash of war or the roar of thunder, but the ground that absorbs it, the steady presence beneath every triumph and disaster. Her story is one of endurance, patience, and the unspoken agreements between life and death. She is the soil that remembers, the mountain that withstands, the mother of storms, the world itself. If you'd like to explore more overlooked deities, forgotten forces, or cosmic figures hidden beneath Norse mythology, Just tell me where to dig next. Andraboda's brood, the mother of the world's undoing. You know Thor, the mighty god of thunder. But do you know the divine being who gave birth to him, the very foundation of the 9 realms? Prepare to uncover the untold story of Jorah, the earth goddess whose influence shaped the cosmos far beyond what you've been told. Her pivotal role in Norse mythology is often overlooked, but not today. Before the first dawn, the goddess beneath all life, long before thunder cracked across the sky, before Odin carved runes into the fabric of fate, Jorah existed, silent, steady, and vast. She was not forged in fire like dwarven treasures, nor born from frost like the ancient Jötnar. She was the world, the soil that remembers every footstep, the mountains that hold the weight of centuries, the deep roots that drink hidden rivers of time. Her presence stretched beyond form, a slow, perpetual breathing that shaped the contours of existence. Her valleys cradled the first wanderers, her cliffs guarded the earliest storms. Even the gods tread lightly upon her, for they knew she was older than their oaths, deeper than their wisdom, and strong enough to outlast their greatest battles. To sense Jorah was to understand the oldest truth of the cosmos, that all things endure because she endures. The lands that shape destiny. Jorah's body formed the stage for every saga, every war cry, every prophecy, every deed sung by skalds and whispered by shadows. Her forests whispered secrets to wandering heroes, her mountains tested the resolve of gods. Even the shifting of tectonic bones beneath her surface echoed with divine intention. Unlike gods who wielded weapons, Jorah shaped fate simply by being. Her storms birthed legends, her fertile plains nurtured kingdoms, and her unyielding stone forged the resolve of mortals. She did not chase destiny, destiny unfurled across her surface like vines seeking the sun. Every rise and fall, every triumph and tragedy, was carved in her terrain. She witnessed them all, remembered them all, and never spoke a word. Why the gods whispered her name. To the Aesir, Jorah was both mother and mystery. Even Odin, who sought knowledge in every shadow, treated her with sacred caution. He knew she could swallow empires with a tremor, or cradle them with gentle abundance. But it was Thor, her storm-forged son, who felt her presence most keenly. His thunder rolled across her skin like a wild heartbeat, and she grounded his fury, tempered his storms, reminded him of the strength that grows from stillness. Sages claim that when Thor rested his hammer upon the earth, he was greeting his mother, not with words, but with the rumble of thunder settling into stone. Mortals honored her with every harvest, every sacrifice returned to the ground. For they understood a simple truth. Jorah gives, and Jorah takes, and through this balance life continues. The truth beneath creation. Sagas often speak of gods who battled giants, who shaped worlds, who controlled wind, fire, sea, and storm. But they forget the one who held them all. Without Jorah, there would be no fields to reap, no mountains to climb, no horizon for heroes to chase. Her body bound the realms together, a cosmic anchor that even Yggdrasil leaned upon. Some legends whisper that she remembers a time before the gods, when the cosmos was a raw, shifting wilderness. She learned patience from the ages before memory, strength from the stones older than language, and wisdom from the roots that drink eternity. Her silence was not absence, it was depth. More than a mother, the keeper of balance. To think of Jorah only as Thor's mother is to miss the enormity of her essence. She was not merely the giver of life, she was the equalizer. Earthquakes were not wrath but recalibration, fertile seasons were not favors but cycles. She moved according to laws older than divine politics or moral prayers. Those who listened, the healers, the wanderers, the hermits living where wind meets stone, felt her guidance in subtle ways. The quiet insistence of intuition. The patience learned from winter. The courage found in the shape of mountains. Her realm was not dominion. It was equilibrium. The silence that still holds us. Because she rarely spoke, Because she did not flaunt her power or bend storms to her will, Jorah faded into the background of myth. Not forgotten, simply taken for granted, as humans often forget to thank the ground beneath their feet. But if you place your palm to the earth and wait, truly wait, you might feel it. A pulse, deep and ancient. A heartbeat steady enough to outlast gods, myths, and all the fleeting things built atop her back. Jorah remains. She always has. She always will. The foundation beneath every saga. To understand Jorah is to understand the quiet strength that underpins the cosmos. She is not the clash of war or the roar of thunder, but the ground that absorbs it, the steady presence beneath every triumph and disaster. Her story is one of endurance, patience, and the unspoken agreements between life and death. She is the soil that remembers, the mountain that withstands, the mother of storms, the world itself. If you'd like to explore more overlooked deities, forgotten forces, or cosmic figures hidden beneath Norse mythology, just tell me where to dig next. Skrymyr's illusions, the giant who bent reality around the gods. Imagine being utterly convinced by what you see, only for it to be a complete fabrication. That's the power of Utgard Loki's illusions, and in this video, we're diving deep into the mind-bending reality of Skrymyr's deceptions. Can you truly separate fact from fiction when faced with a god-level trickster? Let's find out. Before the trick, the giant in the shadows of Jotunheim. Long before Thor tightened his grip on Mjolnir, before Loki's smirk hinted at schemes yet unhatched, Skrymyr walked the wilderness of Jotunheim, massive, deliberate, and unsettlingly calm. He was not like the other giants whose strength shook mountains and whose tempers shattered stone. Skrymyr was something far more dangerous. A giant who understood misdirection. His presence loomed like a storm you never saw approaching, a shape too large to comprehend until it blotted out the sky. He moved with the quiet confidence of someone who knew the secrets behind the world's illusions, because he helped craft them. To meet Skrymyr on the road was to question your own senses, to feel your certainty erode beneath the weight of his knowing stare. The deceptions that shape destiny. Skrymyr's illusions were not crude tricks. They were layers of reality, folded like runes hidden within runes. When he slept, his snores shook the forest, but was he sleeping at all? When Thor struck him with his hammer, once, twice, 3 times, did he truly remain unharmed, or was the god striking empty air wrapped in deception? Every trick was a test. Every illusion, a lesson. He showed the gods a world where strength meant nothing if you could not discern truth from artifice. His illusions stretched minds to breaking points, warping the boundaries between perception and reality. Skrymyr did not deceive to humiliate, he deceived to reveal. To expose the arrogance of gods who believed brute force could solve every riddle. To show that even power bows before cleverness. Why the Aesir whispered his name. For the gods, Skrymyr was not a mere adversary, he was a humiliation they could never retell without wincing. Thor, the mightiest warrior of the Aesir, had been made a fool, swinging his hammer with deadly intent only to land blows that struck illusions thicker than fog. Loki, ever the trickster, recognized Skrymyr's genius instantly. He saw the giant's illusions for what they were. A reflection of his own talents, amplified to monstrous scale. Even he felt a rare twinge of unease. The Aesir feared Skrymyr not because he was strong, though he was, but because he saw through them. He pierced the thin veil of their pride and showed them how small they were within the vast architecture of Jotunheim's magic. The truth behind the illusion. Most myths tell the story of Thor's humiliating journey to Tgara Loki's hall, but they overlook the heart of the ordeal. Skrymyr was the threshold. He was the first test, the silent guardian of deceptive pathways, the giant whose every gesture was a riddle disguised as a simple act. The giant-sized glove he offered as a shelter? A structure so immense that the gods could not recognize it for what it was. The meal Thor could not open? A game whose rules they never understood. Everything they encountered was Skrymyr's doing, every failure, every shock, every moment where their instincts betrayed them. He was not mocking them. He was preparing them for Loki, for the truth that even gods can be blind. More than a trickster, the keeper of perspective, to call Skrymir merely a deceiver is to ignore the wisdom behind his illusions. He was a philosopher of trickery, a sage of perception. He understood that the strongest warrior is powerless if they blindly trust their senses, that pride is the most brittle armor a god can wear. In his presence, even reality seemed to hold its breath. He taught through experience, not words. Through confusion, not clarity. Through illusions that stripped the gods down to their raw selves. The giants of Jotunheim respected him because he did not rely on brute strength. He relied on truth, truth presented through deception. A paradox, yes. But that is where Skrymir lived. In the spaces where paradoxes become lessons. The silence that still warps the woods. Stories say that if you wander deep enough into Jotunheim's forests, you might encounter a shape on the horizon, too large to comprehend, too silent to be natural. Trees bend slightly around it. Rocks seem misplaced. Shadows fall in ways that defy the sun. And if you blink, the shape is gone. Or perhaps it was never there. That is Skrymir's legacy. The lingering doubt that what you see cannot always be trusted. And what you trust cannot always be seen. He remains a reminder etched into the edges of Norse myth. That perception is fragile. That strength can be misled. And that even gods can be made to question everything. The giant behind the curtain. To understand Skrymir is to step into the unsettling gap between illusion and reality. He is not chaos nor malice, but mastery. Mastery of sight, of mind, of the quiet war waged between assumption and truth. He is the shadow behind Loki's throne. The architect of uncertainty. The giant who taught gods how easily they could be fooled. If you want to explore more mind-bending figures, hidden tests, or giants who reshape the myths from the shadows, just tell me what realm to unravel next.